The world into which Noah was born had deteriorated to a point the text describes in terms that feel almost clinically severe. Every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. The corruption was not local or isolated. It was pervasive, structural, cultural. The violence had soaked into the foundations of human society. Into this world, Noah was described simply as a righteous man, blameless in his generation, one who walked with God in a world where that description could be applied to almost no one else. It cost something to be Noah. Righteousness in a thoroughly corrupt culture is not passive. Requires constant, conscious, countercultural choice. God told him what was coming. He gave him specific plans, dimensions, materials, construction details for an ark that would carry Noah, his family, and representatives of every living creature through the catastrophe that was coming. The ark was enormous by any standard, approximately 135 meters long, 23 meters wide, 13.5 meters high. It would take years to build. Noah built it. There is no record of how his neighbors responded. The silence in the text is itself eloquent. A man building an enormous boat on dry land, year after year, was not doing so in social comfort. Faith, in this case, was a long and very public act of appearing unreasonable. When the ark was ready, God brought the animals, pairs of every kind, and Noah's family boarded. Then God shut the door. The flood came, 40 days and 40 nights of rain. Combined with the breaking open of the deep springs of the earth, the waters rose until even the mountains were covered. Everything outside the ark died. Inside, 8 people and countless animals floated on the surface of a drowned world. Then the waters began to recede slowly. For months, Noah sent out a raven, then a dove. The dove returned with an olive branch, one of the most enduring symbols of peace and new beginning in human culture. Rooted in this specific moment, a bird returning to a floating ark with a leaf in its beak, proof that somewhere under the water, a tree was still alive. God told Noah to come out. He stepped off the ark onto a mud that had once been the floor of a world. He built an altar and made an offering. And God made a covenant, not a conditional arrangement, but an unconditional promise. Never again would the waters destroy all life. The sign of that covenant was placed in the clouds, a rainbow. Every rainbow since has been the same covenant, renewed in light. The ancients who saw them knew what they were looking at, not atmospheric optics, but a divine promise kept across millennia, written in spectrum across a sky that had once been a catastrophe. Noah's story is not primarily about the flood. It is about the man who kept building when every rational assessment argued against it, who trusted the word of God over the evidence of his senses for long enough to step into the only boat that was going to survive. The world he stepped off the ark into was clean and empty and terrifying and full of possibility. He planted a vineyard. Life began again.